Neil from Messick here, coming to you from my office this morning. I got an email here this morning that I think was worth talking about. Unfortunately, a gentleman here that's some acquaintance of ours appears to have gotten scammed. And we've talked about fraud here on the channel periodically, but every year that goes by, these things get more and more sophisticated all the time. So we're going to talk through the details here of a totally fake dealership who unfortunately scammed a gentleman out of the money he thought he was paying for a utility vehicle.
Messick's a helping hand with your land.
So this morning when I came into the office here and checked my email, we had an email sitting here from a gentleman asking a bunch of questions about an RTV that he thought he had purchased online. This was a machine that he had found at a dealer. It seemed to be sold at a great price, had a short conversation with them and wired them the money for the machine. And then soon after started to become uncomfortable that things weren't actually going as planned. And sure enough, it does appear that this gentleman was scammed out of about $11,000 or so that he would have paid for this unit. Fraud has happened for a long time, right? Fraud online, especially in our industry, is not necessarily new. If you go back over the years and Craigslist and eBay and Facebook Marketplace, you name it, I think you could probably go through and find the better part of 25% of the units that are on those marketplaces that are not actually legitimate, right? They're fraudulent in some fashion. And that has continued here now beyond that to the point that we're starting to see some of these fraudsters set up complete facades for dealerships, complete with websites and contact information and emails in order to basically create this fake facade. And that does appear to be what is the case here. So we're going to look a little bit here this morning at this particular fraudster, at the websites that they've put together, some of the places that you can look at this stuff and kind of see things that aren't quite right. And I'll talk through some of the strategies that you can use that if you're buying a piece of equipment to make sure that you're buying something from a reputable dealer or reseller or whatever. So we take a quick look here at Lowry's Tractor Sales. This would be the homepage of their site. You can see phone numbers, addresses, emails, everything here that you might want. And as we scroll down through here, we get a lot of like what marketing people would call to action, right? Call now, send us email, 50 years of experience. Join us on our journey. Best offers guaranteed, best delivery service, nationwide logistics, guaranteed best deals. Minimum 3-month warranty, 30-day return policy, real-time tracking, right? Everything that you could want in order to feel great about the deal that you're going to get. The unit that he was looking at here can be found under utility vehicles here under the inventory section. And we'll load that up and scroll down here. And right here we have a Kubota 2019 RTV X 1100 with a front snowblower on it, only 150 hours on the unit, being sold for $13,850. Now, that machine, from my recollection, should be about a $21,000 unit here today. You look here in the background, this is from taken at our Elizabethtown store. You can see the layout of this website is clearly made to mimic Tractor House. If you've seen Tractor House before, this is what their listings look like. This is not Tractor House's website, but they have copied the design style that if you've been shopping for a machine, it gives you some confidence of what you're looking at. Now, where he picked up on this and made the connection to Messick's here was noticing our building in the background. You also notice the listing up here above it has our stickers on the side of this RTV right here. And I went and looked this up back in our system. Now, we actually sold this unit 5 years ago. Here was the listing when we would have sold it. So we sold it for $26,500 out of our Elizabethtown location. At that point, you can see exactly the same photos that were used when putting together this fraudulent website. So that's the kind of thing that these people will do. You often will see pictures that are from Tractor House, other dealerships, that kind of stuff used when assembling these fake listings. So if you're the customer in this situation, what do these transactions usually look like, right? You've found the website, you've gone for the sales pitch that they've put online here, you've got the right unit. most of the time when you start engaging with the people that are behind these things, they're going to put a lot of pressure on you in order to move fast, right? Because you don't want to lose the deal, right? So there's pressure put on you. And one of the ways that they will apply that pressure is getting a quick payment over to them. Sometimes they'll do it for just a deposit if it's a really high dollar amount of machine, again, trying to give you that confidence to actually pull the trigger. Many times they're going to ask for the full payment, but most of the times that payment is going to be done with an ACH. Now, ACHs are bank wire transfers, and one of the things you should know there is that there is no recourse. There's no way to claw your money back. There's very little paper trail, and it's hard to know exactly what bank that money is ending up in. So when you look at an ACH number, it's very hard to be able to determine whether that's an overseas bank or a domestic bank or exactly where that money is headed. So you always want to be careful. If you're making ACH payments, you need to do them with confidence of who is actually on the other side. So definitely a lot of pressure, those kind of value propositions in order to be able to get the deal done, ACH payments. And so you want to be cautious when you have somebody on the other side that's kind of pressuring you in order to make that deal. So that's the pitch. Now, we're going to take a couple minutes here and actually look at this site itself and find the things that don't quite add up, right? What are the red flags that you can look at here that tells you that something is wrong? And to me here, there's a lot that are really interesting. Many times when you're looking at the listings of this kind of equipment, you're going to find spelling errors in a lot of the writing or verbiage and stuff. It's not the kind of way that we would normally speak, right? And you can see right here in the very header, info customers, right? That would never get past even the most basic marketing department, right? And as you scroll down through here, as you read the different text and stuff, it's the intent is there, like the meat of the sentences are there, but the wording is just not. It's not correct. Another thing that caught my eye here is that all the photos on this website are AI-generated photos. You may not realize it as a first glance when you scroll past it, but if you look closely here, the pictures of all the equipment in the background are all AI-generated pictures. The text on the side of the tractors isn't clear. It's not real model numbers. When you look at the hands of the people in here, AI really has a hard time generating hands. I believe there's more fingers in there than what there really should be, right? And AI hasn't quite figured that out. Now, right, it's only getting better, and this stuff's only going to get more sophisticated with time. But you can see here, this is this weird softness that you can tell these photos are AI generated, right? This isn't sitting out in front of a dealership. This is AI photos. So that's interesting. So spelling mistakes are there. AI photos are being used. And then we can start to look at actually some of this information here. So Lowry's Tractor Sales, this appears to be their website, right? But we go through here and let's grab their address, jump on over here to Google, and bring this up on Google Street View. And this is Lowry Tractor Sales. So what it would appear to me is that the fraudster went through and probably took this small business, and this is what they chose as their target, their fake, in order to assemble this website, right? More than likely, this little dealership, no shade to the company themselves, right? Somebody's small business, right? Probably didn't have a website of their own, and so it was easy for somebody else to come along and kind of like take any kind of little reputation that this place had locally or proof of their existence that might be out there on the internet and double down on top of that and be able to construct an entire website that they completely control. If you look here at their lot, what they have out here in the lot is not consistent with the type of inventory that you will be seeing here, right? So if we look at the kinds of tractors that they have in stock and what they're selling, right? All half of market price. That somehow this place is finding. It's just not the kind of equipment that we would see sitting out in front of a dealership like this that's selling, some small 3-point implements and that kind of thing. So those parts of it don't really quite add up, and it should be a red flag. The other thing that I found here as well, if I take the phone number up here at the top and we Google the phone number, this leads us to some interesting places. So up here at the very top, we get Lowry's Tractor Sales. They're 40 years of dependability that shows right up here at the top. But if we scroll down a little bit, we find that Canton Equipment is using exactly the same phone number. And Canton Equipment is here at Mississippi. And if we go look at their homepage, it is exactly the same page layout. So that here in this case, they've constructed 2 different fake dealerships, one in Virginia, one in Mississippi, using the same site template. And so there's your Lowry's, there's your Canton. If we scroll down here and look at our AI generated friends, this guy down here with the Canton Farm Equipment t-shirt and his cowboy hat on, apparently he works for Lowry's Equipment too, because they're both right there, right? So interesting, the power of AI making this stuff easier by being able to create some of the text that's used, the photos that are needed in order to create this perception of a dealership behind this, right? A dealership, apparently it does open houses, right? These photos weren't over on the other site, but here you got these tractors here sitting in the middle. You can tell this stuff's AI generated if you look closely, but again, I think the most impressive thing is, as you're just scrolling by and quickly looking at this stuff, how much time do we often take when we're looking at these sites? And do you realize that anything's actually wrong here? Would this guy sit in this seat right behind this tractor? Probably not. Not in real life. But yeah, it's that stuff has come a long, long way. So obviously we're in the equipment business, right? And having people being scammed by others out there isn't good for us. It's not good for industry. It's not good for anybody. And as much as we want to have as much of your business as possible, we're not foolish enough to sit here and think that we're always the best option for everybody, right? There's a lot of options out there, especially if you're looking at used stuff. There's a lot of machinery out there that you might want to consider. I think it's important that you know some of the tips, right? Let's talk through some things that actually you want to keep in the back of your mind while you're shopping for this stuff to know who you're buying from. And I would start there by saying know who you're buying from, right? If you're making a purchase from somebody online or you're shopping websites from dealers that you haven't heard of before, take those extra steps to actually inquire about who is this person, where do they live, how do they come across this machine that they're selling, are they a dealership, who do they work for? Ask more questions about the machine. Do they understand the unit is that they're selling? Do they know how it works? Can they tell you any kind of history on it? Do they know where its history, where did it come from the get-go? Ask to see additional photos of the machine, photos that aren't already there online, or photos of very specific things. Like give me a photo of the engine compartment, right? And check and see if they're able to provide that to you, or if some interesting excuses start coming up, right? Do they actually have the possession of the unit that they can answer those questions and give you that additional information? That'll help you know that it's real. When it comes to the payment side of things, are they looking for an ACH? Do they need that money that they can run away with here really, really quickly? Or will they take a personal or business check with a little bit of time to clear, or it needs to get through the bank and might get flagged somewhere? So, those kinds of things, the way that the business is being done, the pressure that's there, and just being able to really take some time and tease out that relationship, right? It's really tempting when there's a great deal out there to, kind of go for it and feel like you got to run fast and put the blinders on sometimes to the things that just seem wrong. If I'm totally honest with you, 20-some years ago, I sent a money order to Ukraine for a camera that I desperately wanted, but absolutely couldn't justify the price tag of, and fell for it myself. So even while I sit here and do this, I have my own flaws too. So do be cautious as you're out there shopping. If you have the equipment needs that you're looking for, we here at Messick are glad to help. And if something just doesn't feel right, give us a call. We can look up the serial numbers and talk through the scenarios with you to make sure that if you are making a purchase that's not from us, that hopefully you're doing it right, with the hope that we can support that unit while it's out there too with any parts of service needs that you do have. So if we can help you out, give us a call at Messick. We're available at 800-222-3373 or online at messick.com.